Now, President Trump had once referred to his communications director as, quote, the best piece of tail Corey Lewandowski would ever have. Now, this comes from an excerpt from Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury. And in it, Wolff claims that the president made a comment to his then press secretary, Hope Hicks, after she expressed concerns about how the press was treating Corey Lewandowski. This was Trump's former campaign manager. So, look, hey, the press went after Lewandowski, as they would. And, you know, whether you think it's fairly or unfairly, here's Hope Hicks, obviously very conservative, very pro-Trump, and she's like, I think that the media is treating Corey Lewandowski very unfairly. Okay, hey, if you have that opinion, okay, I don't agree with you, but sure. So she's trying to figure out ways to protect Corey Lewandowski, who she's had an on-again, off-again relationship with, right? And so here's Trump in his response to that. The book states that Hicks was sitting in Trump Tower with Trump and his sons, wondering aloud how she could help Lewandowski with the press when the president interjected, quote, "You've already done enough for him." Trump allegedly responded to Hicks, "You're the best piece of tail he'll ever have." He added in a comment that reportedly sent Hicks running from the room. Well, yeah, that would make sense. If somebody basically referred to you as nothing more than a piece of ass, then, yeah, that might embarrass the hell out of you and make you want to run from the room. Makes all the sense in the world. Now, this is interesting because we know how the president generally views women, right? But this is somebody who's actually really, really close to him, which is fascinating. In fact, Hicks is described as a close confidant of the president. Wolff's book also claims that the president seems to treat Hicks in a very protective and even paternal way. So, I don't know, maybe in his own weird ways, like, oh yeah, you're the best piece of tail. Like, that's like a compliment in Trump world. Yeah, you're the best piece of ass he's ever had. And so, you don't need to do anything more for him. You've already done more than enough. So, yeah, I could see how with people, or I should say among people with certain mindsets, I could see how that could be construed as a compliment. But Hope Hicks running from the room didn't exactly feel complimented by that. Now, she is, of course, his most trusted advisor as well. According to Wolff writing for The Hollywood Reporter, Hicks' primary function was to tend to the Trump ego, to reassure him, to protect him, to buffer him, and to soothe him. It was Hicks who, attentive to his lapses and repetitions, urged him to forego an interview that was set to open the 60 Minutes fall season. Instead, the interview went to Sean Hannity from Fox News, who, White House insiders explained, was willing to supply the questions beforehand. What? Like, are you saying Trump can't handle a normal interview? Come on. But Sean Hannity's like, no, we're going to give you all the questions beforehand so you can make sure to write up some answers. Oh, well, isn't that lovely? So, now, Brad Parscale, digital director for Trump's 2016 campaign, also previously described Hicks' relationship with Trump as familial. Quote, she has a great Trump radar and understanding how he thinks. She loves him like a father in some ways, and I think that is an important loyalty to the family. This was from a Newsweek interview back in November. Quote, they're so close that White House staffers refer to the first daughter, Ivanka Trump, as her father's real wife, which is a little creepy, and communications director Hope Hicks as the president's real daughter. Where's Melania in all this? Maybe in a separate bedroom, wondering how the hell she got into this mess. Not entirely sure. But on Hicks, see, like, for her, it doesn't matter how close you are, how much of a confidant and advisor you are to the president. You're still always just a piece of tail. That's how Trump sees women, as objects. Now, look, if you think that's going to turn off a lot of people to Trump, you're actually wrong. You don't know people. There's actually a lot of dudes who love Trump because they're just like him, because they see women as objects as well. Now, it's funny because they're like him, but without the money. And here's the thing. Trump he's not a success because he's smart. He's lucky. He is part of the lucky sperm club. So he got a lot of money from his dad. But there are a lot of people who act like Trump who are broke as shit and still think that they're the best, that they're the greatest, and that it's everybody else's fault that they're not living up to their full potential. They blame everybody else for their failures. They constantly and consistently objectify women based on their looks. And ironically, I've known a few personally who live off their women, as Trump would do if he hadn't received all of this money from his daddy. This guy's a loser. And also somebody who does not see women as fellow human beings, but just nothing more than pieces of tail. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.